last summer went by really fast. And so did the time that I got to spend with my family while they were here. And just like last year, when my son was heading home, I made sure that he gave me an interview so that you had the opportunity to get to know him a little bit better. Well, this year, I wasn't going to let my daughter leave without doing the same thing. So I hope you enjoyed this opportunity to get to know my daughter a little bit better. Hi.
Hey there, Lily.
So,
So,
this is my daughter. Do we look alike? Probably, maybe,
yes,
kinda.
most people would say so.
Yep, especially our high school pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Could be the same person. So this is what you're going to look like when you get old.
Oh, joy.
So what do you think of Alaska?
I think Alaska's pretty cool.
Yeah?
There's a lot of pretty scenery here.
Is it what you were expecting?
Yeah, it was better than what I expected.
But you've been here before, so how did it compare to the last time you were in Alaska, which was
2009
yeah,
on a
long
cruise
time,
ship.
a long time ago.
I didn't really enjoy my first trip to Alaska because I don't feel like I really got to see much of Alaska. I really just got to see the cruise ship and the ocean and a lot of areas that had a lot of tourists in them.
Yeah.
Which we were tourists.
Yeah, but you didn't really get to see the real Alaska.
Yeah, this was a much more exciting and fun trip. I feel like I got to see like the true Alaska experience.
Yeah. And what was your favorite thing about coming to Alaska this time?
Like my favorite thing that I did?
Yeah.
Probably the wildlife conservation.
Where was that at?
Seward?
Seward?
I think.
Yeah. What did you see while you were there?
Pretty much everything. We saw a couple grizzlies, saw moose, muskox, reindeer, porcupine, saw a bald eagle.
Yeah.
Saw a whale.
In the conservation center.
In the ocean. I think it was there.
Somewhere
where we were in between, before we got to your house, we saw a whale.
Awesome. And then what's your least favorite thing since arriving in Alaska?
Your bucket toilet. Your fancy bucket.
My overpriced composting toilet, you don't like it? You want running water.
It's just the nature of the beast.
You want running water.
I would prefer it.
Yep.
I don't want to live as pioneers as you do.
No, but would you move to Alaska?
I would, because I think I could make better money than I could anywhere else in the States and live in a really beautiful place at the same time.
And what is it that you do for work currently?
I am a custodian for a vocational tech school.
Yep. And do you like that?
I love it. I love to clean. I'm passionate about it. You can edit that out.
If you could move anywhere in Alaska, where would you move?
if there were job opportunities for it, I would live in Valdez because I thought that was the prettiest place that I seen on my trip here.
Despite all
Or
this.
I would live in McCarthy.
In McCarthy?
I thought it was really cool. But
Yeah.
I don't think that there's a big enough industry there. Probably not enough job opportunities to actually make it worth it.
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
What about the amount of snow they get in Valdez? It's the snowiest place in Alaska
Mm-hmm.
with 800 inches of snow. Is that what they said? Yeah, 800 inches of snow. Would you live there year round, or would you just do seasonal work?
Probably just seasonal.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like the job in working in Prudhoe Bay sounds kind of cool because it would be a 2-week on, 2-week off thing.
Yeah, working
So
in
I could
pitches.
live in both Alaska and Oklahoma at the same time.
And I forgot what I was going to ask you.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, totally. I'm watching that dog roll around in the grass. And what do you think about me moving to Alaska?
I'm really happy for you.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you finally got to do what you've always wanted to do. Because I remember when I was in high school and you would just watch videos on Alaska all day long. And I knew that you would eventually move up here. That
Yeah.
you would find your way up here somehow. And I didn't think it would be as soon as you did. But I'm glad that you got out of Denver.
Yeah. So, do you, are you surprised by how remote my cabin is?
I actually thought that it was more remote.
Really?
Yeah, I thought you were like 5 hours from a grocery store for some reason.
Not just an hour away from a store?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the way that I'm living, though? I know you said you couldn't live as pioneer as I am.
I have a lot of respect for you for being able to do that or wanting to do that even in the first place.
Yeah.
It's like, it's refreshing to get a break from all the hustle and bustle.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's very refreshing to be able to just have some peace and quiet and solitude and,
Mm-hmm.
yep. Is there anything besides the composting toilet about the way I live that you wouldn't do? Could you handle being that remote if you had to be?
Probably not all year long.
No?
If I did it, I would like to still have the opportunity to go back to Oklahoma
Yeah.
every now and then.
Could you handle being snowed in for the winters?
Maybe one winter of my life, but I don't
Not
think I would
every
want to
winter.
do it year after year. No.
No.
I think that would be hard.
Months and months of solitude isn't
I
your
think
thing?
you're just built different.
Absolutely.
I think it's
you're right.
it's not for everyone, but
No.
it seems to be working really well for you. You seem happier.
Yep. So if you had a piece of advice for anybody coming to Alaska to visit, now that you've been here twice, what would your piece of advice be?
Wash your hands. Don't touch your face.
That has nothing to do with Alaska. That's just universal advice. If you had a piece of advice for anybody coming to Alaska, what would it be?
Do your research on the area that you're going to move to.
Yeah. What if you're just coming to visit?
I'd say also do your research and maybe try to think outside the box. Don't go to the places that you always hear about, like Ketchikan and Juneau, because I think there's a lot of prettier places or beautiful places that are not as known.
Yeah, definitely.
And most of the times, the places that are a little bit harder to get to are worth it to make that extra drive or whatever it is.
Yeah. Because we went to McCarthy
Mhm.
and we saw the Kennecott Mine,
Mhm.
and you really liked McCarthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was a cute town.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see it in the wintertime.
Yeah. Especially because the road leading back to McCarthy it's a 2-hour drive from the Richardson Highway to McCarthy, and the road is not maintained in the wintertime for a good portion of that road.
Yeah.
And they get on that road yeah, I think I'm saying it correctly.
Galactic.
They get Battlestar Galactic on that road.
Someone isn't gonna like that.
No, they get where the snow builds and builds and builds, and the ice builds and builds.
And you said there's no winter road maintenance on that road,
No,
right?
so they
that
have
would
to.
That would be a even more intense way of life than what you're living. You'd
Correct.
have to like really prepare for the winter months, which you already have to do.
Yeah.
But at least, you know, if you really had to get out in the wintertime, you still can.
Yeah.
It's just not recommended.
Just not recommended. So the road that I live on is maintained in the wintertime, though a lot of times they don't plow it for whatever reason, or if they do, they plow you in.
Yeah.
If they haven't seen tracks on your driveway when they drive by, they'll just cover over your drive with the snow berm, which makes it almost impossible to get out. So back there, though, you know, do that whatever the word is, they get berms or mounds and mounds of snow and ice on that road, and then they have to chip it out themselves with a plow or whatever they have, you know, to get out of there. Do you think you could handle that?
No, I think that's too much work.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. I'm on the fence about that. If it would, part of me feels like it would be worth it, because the place that you get to live in, the view that you get to see, it's just part of it. But also, I don't know if I would want my life to be that difficult.
So you saw, while you were here, you saw Seward and Girdwood, Anchorage. Now you're in Palmer. We're sitting here at the Palmer Museum of History and Art. And
Carthy, Kennecott, Valdez.
Yep, and then the area where I live. Yep. So you've seen a fair amount of Alaska. You've seen the Matanuska Glacier.
Saw the Mendenhall, right? No, we didn't see the Mendenhall. What was the other one that started with a W? The one that we hiked up to?
Yeah. I'm waiting for that airplane to go by. You saw the I forgot what it's called. Worthington Glacier.
Yeah, the Worthington Glacier was really cool.
You hiked up to it?
Yeah, getting to hike up like all the way, almost touching it, was really cool.
Yeah, so from the time your brother was here last year to this year when he came out, that glacier had receded half a mile.
Yeah.
Half a mile in a year's time.
It's pretty significant.
Pretty significant. But I think she said there was a lady at the trailhead when we went to hike to it, and I think she said it was 1,500 acres of glaciation still. So
one of the really crazy things that I saw here was all of the rock settlement underneath what used to be a glacier. I thought that was a pretty crazy sight.
The moraine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So the moraine is little bitty rocks that are left. I might have this wrong, and if I do, I'll edit it out. But little bitty rocks that are left behind from the glaciers as they recede, or as they, you know, move forward or recede back, and they basically look like sand dunes or tailing piles from a mining operation. And
it's just crazy to think about that area is just completely desolate. Like, there's probably not even any wildlife that would live there, because it's just rock.
It's just rock. There might be a few insects.
It's just like miles and miles of nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But you could see at the base of the Worthington Glacier where we were standing, to the top of that peak. Now, not the top of the glacier, but just the top of that one ice peak in front was probably 500 feet of snow.
Yeah. And it was really cool getting to like stand at the top of the Kennecott mine and getting to see that like bird's eye view of that.
Of the moraine coming down from the glacier there. Yep.
Yeah.
And like you said, miles and miles and miles. There had to be probably, I would say, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 miles of moraine. So where that lake was on the far right-hand side to where the glacier is, that all used to be glacier. You know? So yeah, big difference in what it was to what it is now.
Yeah.
Yep. So with that being said, if things were to go back to being colder here in Alaska, because this year was incredibly warm, but if we were to go into a deep cold state and we were happen to get more and more cold temperatures, have colder summers, would you still want to live here?
I would, as long as I lived in a place where I didn't have to do a lot of driving. Like if I did employee housing and I could just get a plane from where I work to Anchorage and then Anchorage to back home,
Yep.
and I didn't have to drive throughout the winter, I would absolutely do it. Because really, the driving is the thing that I hate the most about the snow. I don't like being cold, but I could do it.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing ever. It's better than 110-degree weather. So.
Yeah, which is what you're dealing with right now at
Mhm.
home. Are you looking forward to going back home?
Yes and no. I'm excited to sleep in my bed again, and I'm excited to use my shower. But I'm gonna miss you.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss you too. A lot.
And it's not very often that I get to come and do something this cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah.
So when do you think you're gonna be back out?
Definitely by next summer.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unless I get a job, and then I'll be here
Sooner, hopefully.
from there on out too.
Yeah. So you're gonna start applying soon?
Oh, it depends.
I
don't
can't get
know.
a commitment out of her.
It's a possibility, but I'm not set on it.
Yeah.
But I would like to be able to see you more often than I have been able to. Because
Yeah,
this
same.
is the first time since you moved up here that I've been able
Yeah.
to see you.
I haven't seen you since the weekend that I was moving up here.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
the
that
last
was
time I
only
saw
for
you.
like an hour. So really, before this, the first time, or the last time that we got to sit down for more than an hour was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yep.
Okay, ready?
I'm not funny enough for you?
You're hilarious. Oh, I'm
Looking?
All right. As soon as I'm done preening. So my throat is hoarse because I've been screaming at my kids all week, like as if they were 5-year-olds again. I just had to get it in for old time's sake. No, I'm
For
kidding.
nostalgia.
My throat is hoarse, though, or my voice is hoarse, because I've been doing more talking over the last 20 days than I have done in the last 2 years. So I had my friend out here, and then I had both my son and my daughter, and so hence why my voice sounds the way it does. But enough about me. Let's ask you a couple questions that are about me.
Okay.
What's your favorite memory of me growing up?
Definitely when we would take road trips to the Northwest, like Washington and Idaho and Montana. And I remember a few times when we were just sitting in the tent, really bored, and so we would play Mad Libs and come up with the dumbest responses. And that was a pretty good time.
When we were in the Three Bears convenience store, I saw some Mad Libs books. I
Me
almost
too.
grabbed
That's
one.
what made me think of it.
Now I forgot the other question because that just totally erased my brain there. Oh my goodness. What's the best piece of advice I'd ever given you?
You told me to always do what I want to do and not worry about the money. So you said, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's something that I've definitely tried to live by. And that's why I do what I do, and I really enjoy it.
Because you really do enjoy cleaning.
Yep, I do.
Well, you need to go back to my cabin. I got a whole list of things you can do.
No.
Just kidding.
Pay me.
Yeah, right. You're like, I found the work in Alaska.
Yeah. It's even got a bunkhouse for me.
I will fix up the bunkhouse if you want to stay there. I don't know what else to ask you.
I don't know. This is your rodeo.
This is my rodeo. So let's pony up and go check out the museum and the gardens.
Okay.
Okay. Come along. Well, I apologize for some of the background noise in today's video. As you could see, we were filming outside, and so some of that noise was outside of my control. And I also wasn't quite feeling like myself. I'd actually thought I was just losing my voice from talking, but I'd actually caught a cold at the time of that interview. I am feeling better now, and luckily it didn't last very long. But due to that, I didn't catch some of those background noises until the edit, so I do apologize. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed this opportunity to get to know my daughter a little bit better, and I hope that I'll see you again here next week. Until then, stay safe and take care. Thanks again for watching.